How you doing, everybody? My name is Patrick Duff. I'm known as the Rabble Rouser. I'm an investigative journalist. And tonight, we're going to be getting into the leader of the Patriot Front, a very interesting person named Thomas Rousseau. And we're going to try to figure out, is Thomas Rousseau a Fed or not? Is he a shady motherfucker? Hell yeah. Is he a Fed? We're going to get to that by the end of this video. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. This is my first YouTube paid production. I am now a partner of YouTube, so if this is my first and last video, well, fuck you, YouTube. It is what it is, baby. I can get pretty serious pretty quickly. I was banned from Twitter from life. I've been banned still. They still won't let me back on that motherfucker. So here we go. So let's just talk about who this guy is and why he's in the news right now. So in New York City a couple days ago, a couple weeks ago, you had the tunnel thing. That was pretty crazy. But then you had, a couple days ago, you had these guys show up with these blue jackets and these white masks that were walking around with a bunch of banners, anti-Zionist banners, pro-white banners. And they're a group of pro-white separatists, kind of younger. We can't really figure out who they are, but we will get to who some of them are. And the question is, are they a Fed? I mean, it's such a serious question that Elon Musk even chimed in on the tweet. And if you want to know what I think it should be called a Twix, because it's an X to tweet and an X mixed. So it's a Twix, and he twixed out that the viral conspiracy, basically he was like going along with this guy being a Fed. Now, is he a Fed? We don't know. But let's take a listen to him in his own words here in a New York City subway from last week.
What do you say to people that call you guys Feds?
I'm not a federal agent. My name is Thomas Ryan Rousseau. The group is funded internally. When we need to be funded, members pay their own way. The federal government doesn't like us. The FBI doesn't like us. If we were run by the feds, then we would be committing violence. We'd be setting up acts of terrorism, which is what the FBI does. But you saw here today, we walked past thousands, 10,000 pedestrians, right? We were here to cause violence. You think we would have laid a finger on somebody, but surely we didn't, right? If we were here to make people look bad, then why would we do so many charitable works, right? Why would we be so peaceful? Why would we care so much about American culture and heritage if we were just supposed to be some sort of cartoonish people look bad? It doesn't make any sense. The arguments fall flat. Conservatives, mostly conservatives, say that we're Feds because it's an argument of convenience, because they don't have to be associated with us if we're not real. But the fact is, every day, every year, we're going to stay out here. We're going to keep doing demonstrations. We're going to keep making ourselves known in the public space, and they're going to have to come to terms with our ideology. Everybody is. Everybody's going to not have to have an opinion on Patriot Front as to whether we're real or not, but nationalism, patriotism as a political ideology, and they're going to have those answers when people start asking. If you were.
So there's Thomas Ryan Rousseau, and you can see he's the only one that doesn't have the mask on. The guy behind him doesn't have the mask on too. But this is Ian Smith, the guy from the Tillith Gym, questioning why people are calling this guy a Fed, saying he doesn't believe he's a Fed, believes he's basically just somebody that's protesting. Now, that being said, let's get back into Thomas himself, right? We have to go to the source of where these people come from, who they are, especially if we want to know if they're a Fed or not, right? So here's Thomas in high school. This is 2015, January 12th, 2015, talking about his current activities. He's a writer on the student newspaper called The Sidekick. And he talks about how he's a Boy Scout, trying to be an Eagle Scout, and he's an extremely avid fitness guy that tries to work out every day, wants to be a writer, so it's interesting because, this young Boy Scout kind of comes out of the blocks like, hey, who's this guy? And if you see him here, he's, handsome young fella, great hair, I'll give him that. And his first article, ironically, I guess the editor didn't realize that Thomas was Thomas because the first article they gave him, or maybe they did realize, and they wanted him to join the diversity club. The very first article you can find that he wrote here in the Koppel Student Media was about the diversity club, talking about how, there's a diversity club at school. That must have not sat with him very well, because just 4 days later, he released his next beautiful hit, about the Oscars, saying Jada Smith and her husband Will have unofficially led the pack of celebrities to boycott an award show by not attending. They claim that lack of diversity is an obvious case of discrimination, and basically goes on to say how blacks claim they're underrepresented, but actually it's Asians and Latinos that are underrepresented, and that they have no right to boycott this award show. And so that was his second article that I can find here. And then he heads over to a Trump rally where he does a video on a Trump rally. You can see
Republican candidate Donald Trump held his rally in Fort Worth last Friday.
But if you go down to some of the pictures, I mean, one of my favorite is this guy here. Where did I go? I lost my screen because I didn't play Float on Top. All right, so Float on Top. But check it out. So here we go. He's at his second Jammy Joe here, writing about that. Comes back, does a couple other articles about corporations and how they're basically getting screwed over by equity policies, and he's going right pretty quickly as a young guy here in his writings. Now, what I found that's really interesting is that in 2017 he was part of a group called Vanguard America, and Vanguard America is a group that puts together, a group that was against Jews, blacks, anybody else that was in the country and wanted to separate from Jews and blacks and everybody else and have a white separatist nation inside of this nation. And the way that they did that is they did it through what's called a Discord server. They would communicate through this Discord server and go back and forth and try to figure out plans to go disrupt events and activities at gay pride rallies, things like that. And one of their biggest things was the Unite the Right rally that happened in Charlottesville, where the young lady died after the guy hit her with a car during the protest. Now, what's interesting, and a lot of people don't know, and they don't talk about this in the news, is that right before the Unite the Right rally, in July or June of 2017, you'll see here, the group had a protest in Texas where the leader of the group, a guy named Dylan Hopper, you'll see him right here, who's an older guy who was leading the group since 2016 or 2015, was basically the leader of this group and was bringing everybody together from across the country. When they came together, what he says is that basically Rousseau led the event organizers to believe that Rousseau was in charge of everything, and that Hopper was not very happy with the way Rousseau didn't really set clear lines that Hopper was the leader of this group, not Rousseau. Now, that being said, this is June of 2017, some 3 months basically prior to the August rally, or 2 months prior, where Heather Heyer got killed. And then not long after this, Rousseau, who is a high school student at the time, basically takes control of the Discord servers by fooling Hopper to log out of his account for some security measures, and then when he tried to log back in, he was locked out of his Discord account, so he couldn't communicate with anybody. And at that point, Thomas Rousseau, a 17-year-old high school student, took control of Vanguard America and began putting out more propaganda to get people to come down to Charlottesville to have the Unite the Right rally, where if you remember the marching with the tiki torches and Jews will not replace us, and not a very great look. So he was the leader of that pack. He was the one that was leading Vanguard America at that point. Now, he had co-opted it. He had taken control of it. I'm sure that a lot of people didn't realize that he did it the way he did it. But what happened was, after Heather Heyer got killed, Vanguard America had such a bad taste in its mouth that a lot of people kind of stepped away from it. Now, what's so interesting is this is the website that was created in March of 2015. At least that's the first iteration I can find of it. And this is the first Vanguard America's website, and then you'll see it becomes Patriot Front's website, the same bloodandsoil.org that they have up, and they have their own manifesto claiming they want to be separate from all other races except for Europeans. This is their front page here, and you can see America is under attack. We hear it every day. Whiteness is evil. So what happens is with this web page, after the Unite the Right rally and everything goes down, and remember, the Discord server had been taken control by Thomas Rousseau, and this point also the website had been taken control by Rousseau. And what Rousseau does is, what WordPress does is on August 15th, they shut down this site here, which is the Vanguard America site, and they put a terms of service. See here, this site has been archived or suspended for violations of terms of service. And what happens is after that, on September 15th, they recreate the site as the Patriot Front website, where Thomas Rousseau assumes full control in public of the group, basically, and Vanguard America is wiped away from this blood and soil URL that had become so popular amongst these white supremacist separatists. So here at this point, you have a high school kid that's co-opted an organization that's now become a national organization, and he's been able to lead that group by himself. I have some questions about that, and I'll tell you, here he is in 2020 when he's 20 years old. He got arrested for putting up flyers and putting up different propaganda material around Texas. Was arrested for criminal mischief, fined, and that was it basically. What's interesting and what I wanted to do when I saw this, and I realized, so he lived in Texas, he was arrested in Texas, so you should be able to find him in Texas. So if you go to what's called Been Verified, and you go to a people search, and you look up Thomas, and then you look up his middle name is Ryan, and go to Rousseau, and you go to Texas, what is so odd is that he doesn't come up. He doesn't come up anywhere. This is a Thomas R. Rousseau, or C. Rousseau lives in a different area, but there is no Thomas R. Rousseau. If we take out the R even, and just Thomas Rousseau in Texas, we have a 24-year-old Thomas C. Rousseau in Austin, Texas. That's not where the other one lives, Thomas Rousseau. We have one in Pflugerville, Texas. That's 31. That's not the right age. We have a Thomas Rousseau that's 43 in Killeen. Another one that's 60, 62, 62, 87, 100. So we have all these different Thomas Rousseaus, but none of them are the Thomas Ryan Rousseau from Grapevine, Texas. Now remember, he wasn't arrested by himself. Actually, in this one, he was arrested with a guy named Graham Jones Whitson of Grapevine, who also shared the same address as Rousseau. So we go into the search engine here, we take a look, we go into Graham Whitson, we go to Texas, we search, and we see there's no Graham Whitson in Texas. So who they are, where they came from, I'm not sure if this is their real names. I can tell you that it's odd that you can't find somebody that when you put in a search engine, they went to high school there, they were writing there, they've been arrested there, lived probably, or not probably, more than likely several addresses, because Grapevine is not where the high school for where he went. And the other really odd thing, not just that you can't find him or his buddy that he allegedly lived with, is that in 2022, you see here, alleged leader of Patriot Front among those arrested in Idaho. So he gets arrested at these people were heading to a gay pride festival in Idaho. And we're going to take a little listen here at what the news reporter says.
A possible domestic terror attack over the weekend. 31 members of the white supremacist group Patriot Front were arrested on suspicion of plotting to violently disrupt a local LGBTQ pride event. CBS's Catherine Herridge has the new details. This new video shows Idaho police swarming the U-Haul truck near a weekend pride celebration in the town of Coeur d'Alene. Jammed inside with heavy gear are alleged members of a white supremacist organization called...
So we'll go down, you'll see Thomas Rousseau of Grapevine, Texas. He was arrested. Several other people, 31 people were arrested, made national news. You can see Reclaim America. They're hog-tying these people on the side of the road. So you think the leader of this whole thing would definitely get in some trouble, especially considering the guy had just been in trouble before. He's running a national organization of white separatists that have, propaganda that's out there that is, wanting to create a different nation inside of a nation. So, you would figure at least when they got him arrested on this, that everything, he would get in trouble. But that's not what happened, in fact, at all. He actually got off, and they dismissed all charges against Tom Rousseau, as you see here. Judge dismisses conspiracy to riot charge against Patriot Front founder. Prosecutors appeal. Now, the prosecutors, generally, the judge and the prosecutors work together. But here you have a judge going against prosecutors, dismissing this guy's charges. And let's read here why. It says, Cafferty wrote, "This case is very old for a misdemeanor. Rousseau was scheduled to go to trial Monday. This case has languished well over a year, with some delay attributable to both parties." So, because it's been delayed a year, the judge threw this guy's case out. There's people with warrants out for their arrest. There's others that went to jail for the events that happened where he was arrested also. And he's the leader of this group, the admitted leader of the group. And somehow all his charges get dismissed. So is he a Fed? I don't know. Is that odd, the fact that you can't find him and been verified from who he is or where he came from? Maybe he's using a fake name, which would make sense, for him to do so. But why not just wear the mask then? Why not say that's who I am? When you're so open about what you're doing. That being said, the fact that you get your charges dismissed is shady. That's shady to me. And you're the leader of this whole thing. You stole this organization when you were a high school senior. I got to tell you, I would love to interview you, Mr. Rousseau. So if you can, reach out to me, Patrick Duff, Rabble Rouser Media. You can just send me a message, and I will definitely reach out to you. And remember to like and subscribe to my channel and share this video. This is my first page on, and I hope you liked it. Peace out.